So just popping in the garden, have a look around. There's a couple of things I want to show you today. It's quite a nice day, it's cooler. It's a bit breezy, cloudy, but it's quite a nice temperature. It's about 20, 21. Tomatoes come up. We have had so many tomatoes this year, it's been incredible. It's our first year doing tomatoes. Runner beans are coming along as well. Got a massive one in there, so they hopefully within a week will be ready. What I want to show you is up here. Just to put it into context, this is something I did about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, because we have a problem with badgers and foxes, but badgers in particular, because behind this fence we've actually lost about 15 foot of our garden, because behind this fence is a badger set, which by law we're not allowed to touch. Even if we was to cut the conifers at the back there, we're not allowed to use a mechanical saw. We have to use a hand saw, and we also have to cover the set with a ground cloth to catch all the branches as they fall, to stop them going down the hole, because badgers are a protected species, as is their habitat. So yeah, so behind there we literally can't do anything. I go in there a couple of times a year just to clear the weeds and everything. Other than that, that's it. So getting back to this, I built this in the hope that it would keep the badgers off of our plants and our vegetables. But they can climb, obviously. But we thought it might just be a deterrent to stop them getting in there. But what actually happened is that just here, they actually dug up through into here. So we actually had a hole here. Now over time they stopped using that hole, so I've sort of filled it in the best I can. What's happened is there is something that is coming up through this small hole here. So obviously the tunnels are still underneath this ground, so I'm wondering whether it's actually rats. Although we're in an urban area, where we live, there's a lot of vegetation in everybody's garden. There's lots of trees like this, as you can see. So it's almost like we're in the countryside, but we are actually urban. So what I'm going to do is, I've got a wildlife cam which I have set up to film the badgers of an evening when they are in the garden, and I'm going to set it up in here just to see if there's anything coming in or out of this hole of an evening. This bush here is gooseberry. Recently put these in. They're looking a little bit sorry for themselves. These are pumpkins. My wife grew those from seed. I think we're just about done with the fruit this year. Looking at it, got some raspberries growing under there, but certainly the blackberries, we had nothing off the red currant bush, which is over the back there. But coming over here, as you can see, all this debris, which I have to clear away once a week, once a fortnight, actually comes from this badger hole, which is the entrance, or one of the entrances to the set, and this is where they come out of an evening. We've also got another hole in our neighbour's fence further back behind another conifer, so they use the gardens as like a run, but this is one of the holes to the set. But what seems to happen, I'm not sure what it is, but every so often they have a clear out of the hole, which is really weird because when they clear it out, they just flick it over this way. It doesn't go over any other part of the garden. It comes in the same direction every time. Now, I don't know whether this is just them tidying up the set and they're just throwing all the loose soil out, or whether it is partly caving in, so where it's caving in and obviously getting the debris in the holes and in the passageways, they're just shoveling it out. If you're not familiar with badgers, they're a very powerful animal. They have literally ripped these fences apart before. These have all been replaced. But they're a very powerful animal, and they're lovely to see. I love watching them on the camera. Sometimes we see them out in the garden of an evening, but they can cause a lot of damage. They nuzzle in the ground, as you can see. I mean, it's very brown and dry at the moment because obviously we haven't had any rain for a couple of months, but there's lots of sort of like divots in the grass. This is where they nuzzle into the grass to get the grubs and the bugs out, which is their food. And they also like pooing, and they always seem to poo in our garden. Don't know why, but we've obviously got a different quality of garden to our neighbours, so they prefer to squat here, same as the foxes. If they want to go to the toilet, they'll come to our house and do it in our garden. So yeah, so be interested to hear if anybody else has got badgers in their garden and how they get on with it. I mean, we've had them now, not always had them, but we've had them for about the last 8-9 years, could be 10 years. Not sure where they came from, but with a lot of development happening in the area, they get moved on, and they set up new sets, and they've decided to set one up in our garden. But so they're a lovely animal, but they are quite destructive. I think I've done a bit of a repair around here. Yeah, I mean that's repaired. They ripped out that panel. But yeah, if you've got badgers, I'd be interested to know how you get on with them. We've learned to live with them now. We've tried to fight them in the past, and what I don't mean physically fight them, but sort of do different ways of deterring them coming into our garden. But we're not allowed to do anything with that, because like I say, we're not allowed to block holes off or anything. They did start to dig one here, but it never got finished, yeah, so I just put that there because I didn't want them to create more holes. I'd rather them just come out of the one hole. On the other side of the fence and in my neighbour's garden, they've got exits and entrances that they can get in and out of. So if they do have a collapse in the set, they've still got other entrances they can use. So yeah, just thought I'd show that to you. What I'll do is I'll get a clip of the badgers that we've taken with the wildlife cam, and I'll show you. So yeah, I mean, if anybody's got any ideas on this as well, I think it could be rats that are using the tunnels of the badgers, which is something I've read up on, and they do that. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching.